All right, hey guys, welcome to another soul-crushing day in America. I thought we would take this morning to do a sort of end-to-end recap about what happened last night, how we got there, who lost, who gained, and some stuff you definitely won't hear on the news. So go get some coffee, come on back. We all know Trump was giving like mafia-level orders from the White House. Do not pass the continuing resolutions. Basically, kill the ACA. The 20 million, just kill it. You guys know the drill. When they expire at the end of December, that's like 20 million Americans that are basically going to be priced out of their insurance overnight. Okay, yes, I mean, the Democrats, they found their balls, their spine, they came in swinging. And the polls even showed that people were blaming the GOP 2-1. Well, 40 days later, federal workers are unpaid, 42 million people stand in the balance of losing their SNAP benefits, airports are backed up, of course, before Thanksgiving, and economists are yelling about the GDP free fall. I guess it was okay when Trump was destroying the economy, but if we hold the line to protect something, that's a problem. Okay, sorry, I digress. All right, what happened next? Last night, you had 8 people who voted with the Senate Republicans, okay, to get to 60, which is cloture, so that means that they could reopen the government. And it basically only funds the government through January of 2026, so basically like another 3 months-ish. Don't worry, not before they tucked in a full 3-year plan for funding defense, homeland, and labor health. But I'm sure, it's fine, it's fine. And yes, of course, some of Trump's massive layoffs, right, the federal layoffs, furloughs, whatever, and RIFs, the reduction in forces, were reversed. But guys, they didn't need to be. The thing is, that's not a win. Because if you hadn't tried to hold the line, they wouldn't have been fired in the first place. So getting their jobs back is not a win. It's a call. Anyway. Those ACA subsidies that we were hoping that they would hold out for, right? Nowhere in the little bill they passed. All right, just a little pinky promise that like, yeah, we got you guys. We're going to vote on it mid-December. I'm going to circle back to that in a second. Let's get to who broke ranks. Now, guys, if you want this list, I have it available. I updated my list from yesterday when I was saying these are the 10 people that they're talking about flipping. Go to askrafaela.com. It's the top link, and it says like 8 people who voted to reopen the government. Okay. So, and by the way, before I forget, only one of these people is up for re-election in 2026. All the rest of them aren't up for re-election until 2028 or 2030 because, they think that like we have the attention spans of squirrels, and they're not wrong, most of us, and that we'll forget. The list is John Fetterman, Angus King, Catherine Cortez Masto, Dick Durbin, Jeanne Shaheen, that's the one who's up for re-election in 2026, and Tim Kaine. If you go to that document that I was telling you about, I wrote out right beside each of their names what they said, like why they folded. It's just a whole litany of like, oh, people were suffering and it was better than no chance of a vote. Anyway, so none of it for me was meaningful. Okay. If you did this far in the video, don't forget to like, repost, follow for updates, share with a friend if you've learned something today, and please go follow me over on YouTube because as we move closer towards the full takeover of TikTok, which happens like mid-January by Trump's little buddy, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want this account to get flagged. Here's the part that you're not going to hear on the news that actually just like really pissed me off when I read this morning. While the ACA subsidies get a maybe, Congress gets a full thumbs up. They quietly secured this for themselves. This to me is sickening. They locked in $204 million for member security, $852 million for Capitol Police, $812 million for oversight watchdogs. Now, apparently the Republicans wanted to gut that out of the bill, but the Dems said, no, we're not signing anything without doing that. I mean, this is just some free advice from just one of your constituents to anybody on the Hill. If you guys did things that were popular, then you wouldn't have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on protection because people wouldn't fucking hate you. But anyway, let's do the pros, the immediate relief. Federal workers get back pay, they get to get back to work. SNAP and WIC programs restored. The shutdown pain stops. Of course, agencies reopen. Cons, Democrats gave up their leverage. Republicans get to say they won, and that's not a minor thing. Right now, when morale and kind of optics is super important, of course, you have Trump and all these little cronies out here talking about how it was a victory over the Democrat obstruction. So, I mean, I guess we got to go to Gavin Newsom's little website, his little Patriot Star, get some knee pads for these 8. Now what happens is that the ACA is not going to get voted on until mid-December, which of course they could bypass that, right, just by a filibuster. If that happens, which it will, the premiums are going to spike for 20 plus million Americans, okay, on 1 January. They're going to go up. And then that also includes for anybody who's new, who's currently enrolling in these programs. Open enrollment will then become chaos. Millions and millions and millions of Americans are going to lose their health insurance right before the midterms. And that is the only nugget of hope right there, is there's no way, I mean, this is fully going to be on the Republicans, right? That these premiums went so high that most people couldn't afford them. And for that reason, that is the only good thing. I mean, but they could have done that without a government shutdown, right? It's plainly on the Republicans. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to take full ownership of all these people losing their health insurance. Here's the worst part. I mean, and I said this, I jumped on a live last night. It's the promise of a vote, guys. It's not the promise that it will pass. I think they would need 13, I'm not sure, I'm not looking at the numbers right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Republicans to join them, to be able to push through ACA subsidies that they were so hardline against that they kept the government shut for 40 days. But yeah, let's vote on it in a few days. Wait, get the fuck out of here. And then on top of that, it would still have to go to the House, where it probably won't even be taken up, and even if it were, it wouldn't pass, and it would have to go to Trump. And of course, he's just going to veto it because he's had a hard-on for getting rid of Obamacare ever since he realized that Obama's like 34 times the man that he is. So also that. So for me, this is a complete wash. These people are all traitors. I mean, look, I get that people are in pain and that the economy was suffering, but the economy was already suffering, all right? And the constituents were telling their Democrats, hold the goddamn line. And what happened? We showed them loyalty. We came out, we voted, did all the things to give them that bump, right? A few nights ago, I guess like a week ago now. And what did they do? How did they repay us? They repaid us by saying, oh yeah, we're just going to go ahead and fold, but we're going to make sure we get what we need. But I mean, fuck you guys. Anyways, I'll see you guys later today.